Momo Ayase had just gone through a tough breakup when something strange happened at her school. While walking through the hallways, she saw a male student being bullied and decided to help him. This small act of kindness started an unexpected friendship. The boy was obsessed with UFOs, while Momo believed in ghosts, a belief she learned from her grandmother, who was a psychic. They argued about what was real, aliens or spirits. Their argument turned into a challenge to prove their beliefs. One night, they both went to investigate supernatural places. Momo went to a hospital where UFOs were rumored to appear, and the boy went to a tunnel where a ghost was said to live. During their phone call, Momo shared stories about her grandmother and how she used to be teased because of her psychic background. Things got crazy quickly. The boy encountered a scary ghost called the Turbo Granny and ran away in fear. Momo, meanwhile, was captured by 3 aliens called the Serpo, who wanted to study human reproduction. Just when things looked bad, something amazing happened. The Turbo Granny ghost, now possessing the boy, attacked the aliens and saved Momo. The boy, who had always wanted to make friends, begged the aliens not to hurt her. Surprisingly, Momo discovered she had her own psychic powers. She broke free, kicked the aliens, and helped destroy part of their UFO. The possessed boy warned her that the ghost had stolen something from him and that they needed to go to the tunnel to fix it. In the end, both Momo and the boy realized that ghosts and aliens might actually be real. They decided to work together to solve the strange situation they were in. The story takes a funny twist at the end when Momo asks the boy's name and finds out it's Ken Takakura, the same name as the actor she had mentioned liking earlier. After their crazy supernatural adventure, Momo decides she doesn't want to call the boy by his real name, which happens to be the same as her favorite actor. Instead, she starts calling him Okarun, and he reluctantly accepts it. Since it was morning, Momo invites Okarun to her house to get some new clothes. But things get weird right away. When Okarun tries to walk through the torii gate at her house, he suddenly catches fire. Momo quickly uses her psychic powers to throw him into a nearby river to put out the flames. She discovers that a special talisman on the gate was meant to keep evil spirits away, which is why Okarun was burning. After removing the talisman, he can pass through safely. After changing clothes, Okarun becomes upset about losing his genitals. Momo reminds him that it's his own fault for wanting to talk to her at school. Okarun explains that he just wanted a chance to make a friend and thought Momo would never want to be friends with him. Momo tells him that his problem is that he unknowingly pushes people away. She says she's willing to talk about paranormal things with him. Okarun gets a bit emotional but tries to hide it by responding rudely. Suddenly, they hear the doorbell. Momo doesn't recognize the chime and believes it might be an evil spirit since her house has different chimes for humans and spirits. They go outside to put the talisman back on the gate, but everything has changed. They find themselves in a strange nighttime scene. A wall blocks their way back, a dangerous black mist makes them bleed from their noses, and a large hostile creature appears. Okarun identifies it as the Flatwoods Monster, an alien. Okarun suggests that if Momo suppresses the Turbo Granny's curse, he might be able to fight the alien. Momo agrees, and Okarun becomes incredibly powerful, moving at superhuman speeds and even biting off the monster's fingers. However, the speed starts to hurt him, and Momo uses her psychic powers to pull him away from the monster's attack. Noticing that the Flatwoods Monster fights like a sumo wrestler, Momo comes up with a plan. She uses her right hand to suppress Okarun's curse, allowing him to destroy the monster's leg, and her left hand to pull the alien down. This causes part of the monster to disintegrate. The monster grows extra legs to stay upright and slams Momo into the wall. While continuing to suppress Okarun's curse, Momo gets beaten up, but this is actually part of her plan. She's creating a space in the wall to put the talisman back. She pulls Okarun towards her, places the talisman back in its original spot, which causes the Flatwoods Monster to be destroyed and returns them to the real world. Just as Momo feels relieved that the conflict is over, she faints. And to make things even more bizarre, Okarun starts to transform into the Turbo Granny. During a TV broadcast, a psychic named Santa Dodoria attempts to read a celebrity's profile, but gets repeatedly corrected. Feeling uneasy, the psychic takes a taxi and then decides to walk the rest of the way, believing the driver might be in danger. Meanwhile, just as the Turbo Granny-possessed Okarun is about to attack Momo, her grandmother arrives and intervenes. She creates a mystical barrier around herself and Okarun, setting the evil spirit ablaze when it tries to attack her. The Turbo Granny warns that the barrier won't hold her for long, but Momo's grandmother confidently replies that she plans to kill the spirit. The grandmother begins beating the Turbo Granny with a bat and drops a charm nail to ensure the evil spirit's destruction. When Momo wakes up, she finds her grandmother watching television. Worried about Okarun, she asks if he's okay. To her shock, her grandmother casually mentions killing the evil spirit. Momo apologizes for previously calling her grandmother a fake spirit medium, remembering her past doubts. Rushing to the shrine, Momo finds Okarun alive. She dramatically slams the door in his face after he expresses relief at seeing her. Her grandmother explains that Okarun's curse won't activate as long as he stays inside the shrine, and admits she lied about killing him just to tease Momo. The grandmother reveals crucial information about the Turbo Granny. The spirit has fused with an earthbound spirit from a tunnel, making her extremely powerful. She initially warns Momo to stay away from Okarun, but Momo insists on helping him, channeling her idol Kentakakura's spirit of heroism. Ultimately, the grandmother agrees to help. She explains their plan to defeat the Turbo Granny. They will train to beat the spirit in a game of tag and try to lure her out of Shono City to weaken her. After the grandmother leaves, Okarun apologizes for seeming weak during their fight with the Flatwoods monster. Momo reassures him, saying he did well and that she's okay with saving him next time if needed. In a final twist, the grandmother watches a TV report that confirms her earlier psychic predictions about a celebrity's secrets, vindicating her clairvoyant abilities. During their training, Momo faces a challenging situation with Okarun. He desperately needs to use the bathroom, but Momo refuses to let him go because she would need to be nearby to suppress his curse at all times. Momo explains to her grandmother how she uses her psychokinesis by grabbing onto an aura she can see. She also mentions that she was much stronger when her powers first awakened. Her grandmother, hearing this, instructs Momo to close her eyes and try to suppress the curse using only her sense of touch. Unfortunately, Momo fails in this attempt, and the Turbo Granny begins to take over Okarun's body. Unable to hold it any longer, Okarun makes a mad dash to the bathroom, with Momo and her grandmother in hot pursuit. While Okarun is in the bathroom, Momo's grandmother tells her that her full power might be lying dormant and will require further training to be released. Suddenly, Momo notices her grandmother's nose is bleeding and is shocked to find the Turbo Granny in the bathroom. The evil spirit reveals that she's communicating through Okarun and can kill anyone who has looked at him due to the curse, including Momo's grandmother. Knowing that Momo is training to defeat her, the Turbo Granny issues a terrifying ultimatum. Momo must come to the tunnel that night, or she will start randomly killing people. After the Turbo Granny disappears, Momo can communicate with her grandmother and Okarun again. Her grandmother notices the bleeding and a burnt talisman, asking Momo what happened. Before they leave for the tunnel, Momo's grandmother provides special clothing that protects against evil spirits. She embraces Momo, asking her to return safely. On the train to the tunnel, Momo is consumed by anger toward the Turbo Granny, swearing to make her pay for harming her grandmother.